Hello and welcome to Quiz Time. I'm Jess, and today, as baby boomers, we have questions from the early 80s. So, 100, are you ready? Let's go. Which NASA space shuttle became the first reusable spacecraft to be launched into space? Columbia, Challenger, or Atlantis? Columbia. What historic event took place on the 20th of January 81, just minutes after Ronald Reagan was inaugurated as US President? The fall of the Berlin Wall, the Iran hostage crisis ended, or the assassination attempt on Reagan? The Iran hostage crisis ended. Who was assassinated in 1981 while giving a speech in Egypt? Anwar Sadat, Yasser Arafat, or King Hussein? Anwar Sadat. True or false? The video game Donkey Kong was released in 1981. Oh, I remember Donkey Kong. Did you play it? But was it 81? It's true. It was 1981. What major medical breakthrough occurred in 1982? Cardiogen, Jarvik 7, or Medtronic heart valve? Jarvik 7. Which European nation won its first FIFA World Cup in over 40 years by defeating West Germany in the final? Italy, France, or Spain? It was Italy. Who became the first woman to be appointed as Prime Minister of Canada, albeit very briefly? Margaret Thatcher, Kim Campbell, or Jeanne Suave? Jeanne Suave. Which infectious disease, first identified in 1981, became a global health crisis? HIV, AIDS, SARS, or Ebola? HIV, AIDS. Which historic event occurred in Argentina in 1982? The Falklands War, the Dirty War, or the Malvinas Uprising? The Falklands War. What woman travelled to space in the 1983 aboard Challenger space shuttle? So there was a woman in space in 83 in Challenger. I remember the space shuttles, do you? It was Sally Ride. Which spacecraft was tasked with exploring the outer planets? Galileo. Who became the first woman to be appointed as Prime Minister of Norway? Benazir Bhutto, Margaret Thatcher, or Gro Harlem Brundtland? Gro Harlem Brundtland. What major entertainment network debuted in 1981? VH1, MTV, or BET? It was MTV. Were you one of the first to get it? Which famous marathoner completed a race in a world record time of 2 hours, 8 minutes and 13 seconds? Haile Gebrselassie, Alberto Salazar, or Frank Shorter? Alberto Salazar. What global sporting event did China make its return to in 1984? The Winter Olympics, FIFA World Cup, or the Summer Olympics? The Summer Olympics. What was the code name of the US military invasion of Grenada? Operation Desert Storm, Operation Just Cause, or Operation Urgent Fury? Operation Urgent Fury. Who was the first person to achieve a perfect score of 10 in Olympic gymnastics? Mary Lou Retton, Olga Korbut, or Ekaterina Skarbov? Mary Lou Retton. Which important economic agreement was signed in 1983? NAFTA, the Paris Accords, or the Free Trade Agreement? The Free Trade Agreement. Which car manufacturer produced the first car designed entirely using computer-aided design? Honda. Which American cyclist won the 1983 Tour de France? Greg LeMond, Lance Armstrong, or Bernard Hinault? Greg LeMond. Which musical group released the hit single Africa in 1982? Journey, Toto, or The Police? Great song. Do you remember who it was by? It was by Toto. In 1982, which African country faced a severe drought that led to a major famine, sparking global humanitarian efforts? Ethiopia. Who became the first female vice presidential candidate on a major US party ticket? Hillary Clinton, Geraldine Ferraro, or Shirley Chisholm? Geraldine Ferraro. Which nation won the 1983 America's Cup yacht race? Australia, Great Britain, or New Zealand? Australia. Which product was marketed with a famous Super Bowl commercial? Apple Lisa, Apple II, or Macintosh? Macintosh. Which American athlete won the gold medal in the decathlon at the 1984 Summer Olympics? Bruce Baumgartner. Which nuclear arms control agreement was signed between the US and the Soviet Union in 1983? SALT II, START Treaty, or INF Treaty? It was the INF or INF Treaty. Which storm caused widespread devastation in Central America? Hurricane Mitch, Hurricane Lota, or Hurricane Paul? Hurricane Paul. Which fast food chain suffered a major PR crisis after reports surfaced of undercooked hamburgers? McDonald's, Jack in the Box, or Wendy's? Wendy's. Who became the first American astronaut to perform a spacewalk from a space shuttle during the Columbia mission? Did you follow the start of the space shuttles back in the 80s? Bruce McCandless, 2. Which country was the first to recognise the independence of the Solidarity movement in Poland? United States, Vatican City, or Canada? Canada. Which international pop band achieved fame with their hit single Take On Me? Duran Duran, Pet Shop Boys, or a-ha? It was a-ha. Which country became the first in the world to legalise same-sex civil unions? New Zealand, Denmark, or the Netherlands? New Zealand. Who won the Nobel Peace Prize for his efforts in leading the Solidarity Labour movement in Poland? Lech Wałęsa, Mikhail Gorbachev, or Václav Havel? Lech Wałęsa. Which best-selling novel was written by Alice Walker? Beloved, The Colour Purple, or Song of Solomon? The Colour Purple. Which American basketball player was drafted in 1984 by the Chicago Bulls? Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, or Michael Jordan? Michael Jordan. Who became the General Secretary of the Communist Party of the Soviet Union in 1982? Yuri Andropov, Mikhail Gorbachev, or Konstantin Chernenko? Yuri Andropov. Which influential pop singer rose to international fame with her album Like a Virgin? Whitney Houston, Madonna, or Cyndi Lauper? Madonna. Which country passed a new constitution that included a Charter of Rights and Freedoms granting more autonomy from Britain? Australia, Canada, or India? Canada. Which film became a defining piece of American cinema about teenage angst and violence? The Outsiders, Rumble Fish, or Stand By Me? The Outsiders. Which video game console failed due to poor sales? Atari 5200, ColecoVision, or Intellivision? Atari 5200. What famous British TV show featuring alien time travellers launched in 1981 with new storylines and iconic villains? Doctor Who. Are you a fan? It's still going strong. Which corporation went on to become a major player in computer graphics and visual effects in movies? Adobe, Nvidia, or Pixar? Pixar. Which country became the 10th member of the European Economic Community? Are you going to get this without a multiple choice? The 10th member. It was Greece. Who became the first woman to hold the office of US Secretary of Transportation? Sandra Day O'Connor, Geraldine Ferraro, or Elizabeth Dole? Elizabeth Dole. What significant economic event occurred in 1982, triggering a severe financial crisis in Latin America? The Mexican peso crisis. Which rock band released their groundbreaking album, War? U2, The Clash, or The Police? U2. Who was the astronaut who made history by performing the first untethered spacewalk? Sally Ride, Bruce McCandless, or John Glenn? Bruce McCandless. What airline suffered a tragic crash of its Flight 007 in 1983 after being shot down by a Soviet fighter jet? Pan Am, Air India, or Korean Air? Korean Air. What infamous advertising slogan was introduced by Wendy's? Where's the beef? Which Indian city was the site of the Union Carbide pesticide plant disaster? Mumbai, Bhopal, or Calcutta? Bhopal. Which country won its first Davis Cup title in 1983? Sweden, Argentina, or Australia? Sweden. Who was the first African American woman to win the Miss America title? Vanessa Williams, Tyra Banks, or Oprah Winfrey? It was Vanessa Williams. What major reform initiative in the Soviet Union aimed to restructure the country's economy and political system? Perestroika. Which company introduced the first laser printer? IBM, Hewlett-Packard, or Canon? Multiple choice. Do you know this, or is it a stab in the dark on this one? It was Hewlett-Packard. What horror movie became a cult classic and involved a haunted car that wreaked havoc? The Thing, Christine, or Poltergeist? Christine. Which national park in the United States was designated in 1980 but gained prominence by 1981? Yellowstone, Death Valley, or Wrangell St. Elias? Wrangell St. Elias, or St. Elias. Which comic strip character was introduced by Jim Davis? Garfield, Calvin, or Snoopy? It's Garfield. We love a bit of Garfield. Which African country experienced a coup d'etat in 1984? Ghana. Who became the first female anchor of a major US evening news program? Diane Sawyer, Katie Couric, or Barbara Walters? Barbara Walters. What term was coined to describe the rapid transition of businesses and economies to computerized operations? Industrial automation, digital revolution, or silicon revolution? Digital revolution. Which nation was the first in the world to implement a blanket ban on the import of British beef? France, Germany, or South Africa? South Africa. Who became the Prime Minister of New Zealand in 1984? Robert Muldoon, David Lange, or Norman Kirk? David Lange. Which fashion icon shocked the fashion world by walking the runway for Yves Saint Laurent's final collection at the age of 73? Coco Chanel, Diane Vreeland, or Marlene Dietrich? Marlene Dietrich. In 1984, who won the Formula One World Championship after a dramatic season that saw a very close finish? Niki Lauda. Which leader was overthrown in the Grenadian coup? Maurice Bishop, Bernard Cord, or Eric Gairy? Maurice Bishop. Which city became the first to elect an African American mayor? Chicago, Detroit, or Los Angeles? Chicago. What was the name of the first personal computer virus to spread in the wild? Brain, Creeper, or Elk Cloner? Elk Cloner. What iconic video game featuring a Russian designer became a worldwide sensation and helped define the puzzle game genre? Tetris. Remember Tetris? What major Cold War incident occurred where a Soviet military officer avoided a nuclear exchange by correctly judging a false alarm? Able Archer crisis, Petrov incident, or Cuban Missile Crisis? Petrov incident. Which city experienced one of its worst economic downturns in history in 1981? Flint, Cleveland, or Detroit? Detroit. Which famous international marathon was established in 1981? The London Marathon. Which country implemented the Falklands War Memorial Service? United Kingdom, Argentina, or Chile? It was the United Kingdom. What groundbreaking NASA mission placed the first space probe into orbit around another planet? Pioneer 10, Mariner 9, or Pioneer Venus Orbiter? Pioneer Venus Orbiter. Which famous author published The Bonfire of the Vanities? Tom Wolfe. Which African country hosted the 1982 Organization of African Unity Summit? Kenya, Libya, or Zimbabwe? Zimbabwe. Which British band released the hit song Come On Eileen? Dexy's Midnight Runners, Duran Duran, or Spandau Ballet? Do you remember this one and this band? I remember seeing them in dungarees on Top of the Pops. Dexy's Midnight Runners. Which tennis star won her first Grand Slam at the French Open in 1983? Martina Navratilova. Which European country banned the public performance of 1984? East Germany, Soviet Union, or Romania? East Germany. Which cultural icon debuted as a talking doll? Teddy Ruxpin, Miss My Buddy, or Cabbage Patch Kids? Teddy Ruxpin. Which country experienced widespread protests over the installation of US nuclear missiles? France, Italy, or West Germany? West Germany. Who became the first female host of the Academy Awards ceremony? Joan Rivers. Which tropical disease saw a resurgence in the 1980s, particularly in the Americas? Malaria, dengue fever, or yellow fever? Dengue fever. What environmental disaster took place when a Texaco oil refinery exploded in Louisiana? Norco disaster, Exxon Valdez, or Deepwater Horizon? Norco disaster. The Indian government launched Operation Blue Star in response to separatist movements in which location? Kashmir, Punjab, or Assam? Punjab. Which New York-based punk band released the album Combat Rock? The Clash. Which Canadian city hosted Pope John Paul II's visit? Montreal, Vancouver, or Toronto? Toronto. True or false? KFC opened its first restaurant in China. Still needs to open one in Guernsey. But it's true, it did. Which US automaker introduced the minivan? Chrysler. Which music album by Prince was accompanied by a movie of the same name? 1999, Purple Rain, or Sign of the Times? Purple Rain. And what a talent Prince was. What New York artist created Obi Giant? Jean-Michel Basquiat, Keith Haring, or Shepard Fairey? Shepard Fairey. What martial art-based exercise is a combination of self-defense techniques and fitness benefits? Tai Chi, kickboxing, or Taibo? Taibo. Which country was the first in Latin America to re-establish diplomatic relations with the Vatican? Mexico, Argentina, or Chile? Mexico. Which president signed a law establishing Martin Luther King Jr. Day as a federal holiday? Jimmy Carter, Ronald Reagan, or George H.W. Bush? Ronald Reagan. Which iconic American athlete won the gold medal in gymnastics at the 1984 Summer Olympics in Los Angeles? Mary Lou Retton. Which famous writer published Smiley's People? Ian Fleming, Frederick Forsyth, or John le Carre? John le Carre. Which country was expelled from the Commonwealth of Nations due to its policy of apartheid? Rhodesia, Namibia, or South Africa? South Africa. Which company was founded in 1982 and would later become a leader in graphics processing units? Intel, NVIDIA, or AMD? NVIDIA. Which country became the first to use a mobile phone network? Japan, United States, or Sweden? Sweden. And your last one, which musical group performed the iconic anthem, We Are the World? No multiple choice here. Can you remember? It was USA for Africa. So, how did you do today? Please drop your score in the comments below. And of course, like and subscribe so you get notified every time we post a new quiz. And please join us next time for more fun on Quiz Time.